In this episode of the Young Family Podcast, the TBC and I discuss the age-old dilemma of how to keep the love tank of your relationship full when you have kids. We also confess the adorable annual parenting tradition that we're officially no longer participating in. And finally, we'll list a 4-step plan on how to potty train a little boy, at least one that worked for us. Everybody, it's the fresh new Young Family Podcast. Hi, I'm Erik Young, full-time dad of 2 and an entrepreneur. That's right, I try to do both things full-time. Smart, right?
Hello, I'm Carolyn. I'm the wife to this handsome co-host and the mother of our 2 children. I work full-time on top of being a mom and would do anything for a nap.
Together, we're a husband and wife team podcasting about the joys, heartbreaks, and sometimes hilarious tribulations that make up the journey of parenthood. This is the Young Family Podcast. All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Young Family Podcast. It's episode 4. We're calling this one The Love Tank. TBC, how you doing today?
Doing well.
Let's do some housekeeping real quick because we got a lot of important stuff to share with the listeners, don't we, TBC?
A lot.
All right, so the really exciting things up front are that the Young Family Podcast is now available almost everywhere that people like to listen to podcasts. So that includes iTunes. That's a biggin. We are also available on Stitcher and in the Google Play Store. You can also find us on SoundCloud, should you feel so inclined. Definitely find us on whichever platform you prefer. We are out there, and we're working on a few more as well. We also want to say that this episode of the Young Family Podcast is brought to you by 7 Mangoes Creative. 7 Mangoes Creative is your one-stop shop for digital media productions solutions. That means if you have a business of any size, shape, or variety, 7 Mangoes Creative can help you to create those videos for marketing, designs that you need in order to make a real awesome professional impression on social media and the web. We'd also like to say that this episode is brought to you by Nona Glow. Isn't that right, TBC?
It sure is.
What's different about us recording this podcast right now?
Well, it's the middle of the day.
When do we normally record podcasts?
At like 10 o'clock at night.
Right, which is just an ungodly hour for parents.
That's when we should be sleeping.
Totes. So this is one of the first times ever, I think, since like Jackson's been a newborn infant that we have recorded in the middle of the day. It's totally weird. That's what it is, everybody. TBC, you want to go ahead and preview the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
First and foremost, we're going to debut a brand new segment called TBC's Parenting Plug of the Week. That's pretty self-explanatory, so TBC is going to take that away in just a few minutes, and she's going to tell you what sort of things you need to know as parents. We've also been contacted by one of our listeners. This was a special request topic. How do you keep the love tank full when you are in a relationship and there are children involved? How do you keep that love tank full? Age-old question. We're going to tackle it. We're not experts of love. I don't think really anyone is, but we're going to take a stab at it. Next, you know how we do here on the Young Family Podcast. We're going to Confession Town, and we're going to confess the thing that we are bowing out on as parents. It's something that some parents think is pretty fun and lively, but for us, we're out. So stick around to find out what that is. And then finally, we're going to end the episode with sharing our steps on how to potty train a little boy in just 4 steps. That's all we've distilled it down to. So we're going to get into all of that in a minute, but not before we get into everybody, TBC's Parenting Plug of the Week. Take it away, TBC.
You make it sound so exciting.
Yes, thank you.
Like I have like good information to share.
You do, right?
Actually, I feel that I do. So my plug of the week is Up and Up Diapers, which is the Target's brand of diapers. And just to kind of back it up just a hair, when we first became parents, you know, everyone's like, what type of diapers should we get? And, you know, the number one diapers is Pampers. And I love Pampers diapers. I have nothing bad to say about Pampers except for the price.
Yeah.
Which is a little pricey.
It's unsustainable, in my opinion, to just be a Pamper family forever.
I didn't think, because they're great diapers and they work great, but...
You know what? They know it, too. I'm sorry to be hijacking your section here, but they know it, that they have the reputation as the best. So they're just like, first-time parents are going to buy us no matter what, because every first-time parent wants the best, right?
That's why the Loves commercial says second time around or whatever it is, you wise up and you get Loves.
Right.
Because it's like, the first-time parents are like, yeah, pamper diapers, Pampers,
Right.
Pampers. And then you're like, man, like these are expensive.
Right.
We spend a lot of money on diapers.
Yeah, Pampers just knows their place in the market, and they're just like, we're going to charge you whatever the heck
I mean,
we
they
feel
are
like.
great diapers, but my plug is not about Pampers. My plug is about Target Up and Up brand diapers. Because after going through all the other brands, I feel like the most similar brand to Pampers is Target's brand diapers.
Yeah.
They're similar with like the P line, I guess, that like tells you when they've like gone to the bathroom.
Listen, the P line is clutch.
It is very nice.
You
don't,
need
'cause
it.
you don't have to look. You don't have to like look inside.
What did people do before the P line?
I
They're
think
opening up that diaper?
I think you pick it up and like smell test. No? I don't know. I mean, I do that sometimes still, but for like, anyways. The Up and
We're
Up
grateful for the P line.
the-
We're going to leave it at that.
The Up and Up diapers, though, are just the quality of a Pampers, but the price that you're looking for that you need to kind of get you through those beginning years of diapers. So definitely give it a shot. And even better than that, Target now has, or at least most locations now have, the drive up option. So you don't even have to get out of your car. You say, oh my gosh, I'm out of diapers. You go to the car, they're there in a minute, and you drive away.
Right,
You don't have to get out of your car.
It's true, yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
if you have one of these newfangled minivans, too, that have, like, doors that open on their
They don't
own.
have to be the new versions. That minivans, period.
Minivans, period, I guess, yeah. If you can push buttons to open up your door, like, you literally do not have to move in order to acquire diapers from the drive-in feature of Target. So, big ups. Is that concluding your very first TBC's Parenting Plug of
try
the Week?
the Up and Up diapers. They are amazing, and they work. They work.
Even if you're a first-time parent.
Yes,
Take TBC's word for it.
they're amazing.
She's two-time parenting champion.
Get them.
And scene. That's where we'll cut the music. We got one heck of a show to work through right here. Very first topic, the first requested topic. How do you keep the love tank full in a relationship with children? I'm going to preface it with this, just like I said at the top of the episode. We're not trying to portray ourselves as love experts. In fact, I know that sometimes I annoy the heck out of you. I know I'm annoying. I have the self-awareness to realize,
I mean, I could be annoying.
yeah, like everyone.
Yeah.
I thought we were in like the self-awareness tree here for a second where we were all being really open about that we're not perfect and we all have annoying tendencies. We can get on each other's nerves, but more importantly, when children are introduced into a relationship between two people, it is undoubtedly and inevitably going to bring upon strain of that relationship. So let's just start with that, Carolyn. Why do you suppose that is?
I think that it puts a strain because your whole world changes so quickly
Right.
that you're just trying to figure out what is going on, like what is happening, like your world is just rocked overnight between sleep and feeding and like learning the cries and learning what's going on. All you want to do in your spare time is like sleep. So it's like you just lost so much like couple time. You lost the flexibility of being able to do whatever we want at a drop of a hat. Now our priority is putting their needs first and then finding that time for, ourselves when that little one is like asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it boils down to two main things. Number one, you previously had nothing in between just trying to build the quality of your relationship between that person. So you had no barriers. And then, like you said, overnight, then there's a barrier because the child, for as much love and awesomeness it may potentially bring into your life, it is also a barrier to being able to foster the love of a relationship between you and your partner. Number two is very logistically, a child is going to put a strain on two very important resources, time and money, right?
Right.
So depending on how you and your partner communicate with one another, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, when time and money are siphoned off a little bit, it might be more challenging. So that's, I think, the reason why it's going to be taxing on the love tank in a relationship with children?
I think that it's important, though, to like kind of figure out what your partner's love language is. Like, how do they feel loved?
Right.
Like, because it's different.
It's true.
Like, for me, I feel loved when...
I know.
Let's see.
Quality time.
Yes.
The most valuable of all the resources.
In my opinion.
You can go ahead and give your partner the diamond rings or whatever, the jewelry, but let me tell you, the TBC, she wants that valuable time, the one and only thing that is truly priceless and can only be delivered by yours truly.
Well, because the 5 love languages are acts of service, gifts, quality time,
all right,
affection,
okay,
and
words of affirmation.
Yes, good. Words of affirmation.
Ding, 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 ding.
So, like, for me, it's just like I just feel like the connection when you give me like your time and kind of have like undivided attention. And for now, we really don't have a ton of time.
No, we have a 0.
Right. So like for me, it's like, and not everybody has babysitters, really, whenever they want to, or family that can help. But it's just like after the kids go to sleep, having a glass of wine, finding time to talk, driving in a car. Like, I used to not think that, like, driving in a car is, like, quality time because it wasn't, like, quote-unquote fun. It wasn't, like, an activity.
It wasn't undivided attention.
Yeah, because,
Let's put it tangibly like that.
Yeah,
right?
So, but now it's like, well, if we're in the car for an hour.
Take what you can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, let's use that time to talk to each other, figure out,
So that actually brings me to my first point on this topic. I think that instead of us sharing some like one-size-fits-all solution for everyone that's listening, clearly there is none, because the first thing we've discussed is that there are multiple different languages that you can communicate love with your partner. But even beyond that, I think that you need to look internally when you're talking about love in a relationship, in a family with children. And so my big thing would be manage your expectations from your partner. So keeping the love tank full in a relationship starts with you. And it starts with understanding and kind of coming to terms with, let's say, the reality of the situation. Life is different with children. Life is more challenging. Tangible resources are now divided. Time, money, attention, all of it decreased. So start by going easier on your partner and start to become at peace with the fact that they're going to do the best that they can, but it's going to be different than how it used to be. And brace yourself for the new reality. Not trying to portray a grim and awful picture here, because there can still be a lot of love in a relationship with children. And to be true, there are new forms of love that come from the child itself that you can share with your partner. But you got to come to terms with the fact that it's going to be different, and you have to manage expectations. What do you say to that, TBC?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's true. Yeah, like you said, go easy on your partner, kind of like as like you're adapting to like your new life with kids. Kind of say, let's figure this out together. Don't put everything like on me. Don't put everything on you. Just say, how are we going to work together as a team so like neither one of us like resents each other.
Right.
So it's like if we work together as a team, we communicate. If we have the proper expectations, then we're not kind of like resenting the other. And then working together as a team, the house is cleaned faster when the kids go to sleep. Right. So then before we go to bed, we have some time for like ourselves.
That's a great follow-up point, is that not only manage expectations, but then communicate those expectations with your partner so that there is a clear accord between the two of you of like, because even though you may come to terms with the fact, let's say your partner used to do this super sweet thing for you every single day and leave a little note on your bath towel before you take a shower to go to work in the morning or something like that. And then all of a sudden, baby comes into the picture and the notes stop, right? Even though you may say, okay, well, life is different. There are so many reasons why the child now is just rocking our world. And I understand that the notes are no longer there. I wish that they were. But I do also think it's okay to say to your partner, hey, but listen, that is my love language, is like that little gesture, that little like word of affirmation that you left me each morning. So I need that in another way at some point.
Well, I think that is the kicker from what I kind of said in the beginning. It's like you need to give love, not how you want to give love, but how your partner wants to receive love. If my love language is quality time and your language is like affection, if I'm giving you quality time, then like I'm not filling your love tank because I'm giving you the wrong language for you to kind of feel that way. And you can have a couple, there's, maybe mine is like words of affirmation and quality time.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think we should come out and say this is not something that we've invented, like the terms of like this love language. This is something that you should totally Google it.
There's a book.
There's a book. I'm sure it's all over the web at this point. There's like, I'm sure even, surveys or quizzes or whatever that you can take to determine technically what your love language is if you can't really figure out yourself which one of these categories you fall in. So definitely do that research, do it together with your partner, try and establish tangibly what these love languages are, make sure the results seem like they're lining up, and then talk about them. My final point on this topic was, as this is especially for the fellas, all right? It's for the ladies, but fellas, listen closely. I've come to learn over the years that, if you're in a relationship with a woman, one of the best things that you can do is that it's really just all about the gestures. It's about the amount of thought and effort that goes into something. So, for instance, if you are tied up with a ton of work, but, let's say you're providing for the family, making a ton of money, something like that, and you're showering your partner with gifts, and that still seems like it's not filling the love tank, it can start to get really frustrating, confusing. Again, I would say reference the love language, make sure that you're communicating to her through that, but also just kind of as a fail-safe, I think that it's normally successful to approach it from the angle of, what is it about my woman that I really love? What is it about her that I really appreciate? So even just taking those few moments to think about the specifics that she provides in your life, and then framing some sort of a gift or a notion of appreciation through that lens, I think can go really, really far in a relationship.
Yeah. And I feel that for us now, and this will be my closing thought, is, basically everything that we say, but then occasionally, know that it's not going to be as often as it was before, but get that date night away from the house, even if it's only for 1 to 2 hours, because anything is better than nothing.
100% agree. So that's going to take us to our first break, everybody. Stay tuned. Next topic's up. We're confessing the things that we're bowing out on as parents, and stick around to the Young Family Podcast. All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Young Family Podcast. We're back into our confession section. This is something it seems like we're doing every episode because we like to be real with you guys. And so this is our segment of realness, right, TBC?
That's right.
So we've been talking. We got our kids' birthdays coming up.
Yeah, our kids were basically born the same time.
Same time of the year.
So they're basically 2 weeks apart.
2 years apart.
Right.
Obviously, because 2 weeks apart is physiologically impossible.
No, yes. So we have like one basically at like the end of March and one like in the beginning of April.
True.
As far as like celebrating goes, they fall 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So we're kind of having those like tough conversations now. Do we have a party? Do we have one party? Do we have two parties? Do we have a joint party?
And you want to know what we came to realize, fam?
No parties.
Ever.
No, not ever. Right now. We might reevaluate down the road.
All right.
But for now.
But it's no parties right now, I would say. And the point where I would totally reconsider is when the children get opinionated enough to say, like,
I want a party with my friends.
For my birthday, I want a party. At which point, all right, we'll reconsider.
We'll have a little talk.
But I think that the manifestation of this came from two things. Number one, Carolyn, I think we realized we're just not cut out for child birthday party hosting.
You know, I don't even think it has to do with child birthday party hosting. Just hosting. I am not a good host.
You know what we are? We're great guests.
Yeah. You invite me.
Invite us.
If I have a sitter.
To your thing.
Or, if I have time.
We even like being invited to our friends' kids' birthdays.
Yeah. The kids love it.
They have bounce houses. They
Great
do
food.
They do the barbecue. They order some pizza. There's gift bags. Like, we see the joy in children's birthday parties when other people do them, and because
that sounds bad.
It seems like they do it so well, though, and we just don't.
It just seems effortless. For me, I get the anxiety of, is my house clean enough? Is this hall that I rented good enough? Are we going to have enough food? Are we going to have enough food for dietary restrictions? Like, is it going to be cool enough, warm enough? Are people going to come?
Yeah. Even just picking the date, even though it's a birthday, and so we want to try, but you can very rarely celebrate or have a birthday party on the child's actual birthday. So then it's like, which weekend of the month of March should we have Riley's birthday? How about the one in April? Oh no, we have other friends that are doing something else that weekend because there's only 4 freaking weekends in a month.
Well, and then when everybody shows up, you can't talk to your friends. You can't talk to your family.
Nope.
You have to make sure that there's enough chips in the basket.
Exactly. It's your kid's birthday. So you it's a huge tease because you invite all the people that you know and love. But you're supposed to be having that special day and time with your child. So no matter what, all of your guests are being neglected one way or another.
I do think it's nice to have a 1-year-old birthday party for your first child.
Which is what we did.
Right. But now
and then we're out.
For Jackson's second birthday, I had just given birth. I had just had a C-section. So
right.
I was not really feeling it. I was still recovering.
We still tried to make his day special.
Oh, of course.
Right.
But it was just as a family. So
yeah.
We've had a lot of advice from friends who have older kids that basically said their birthday is going to be filled with a fun experience.
Experiential birthdays. And when we got that advice, church bells started ringing in my head. I was like, oh man, honestly, I felt a wave of refreshment. That specific tip just made so much sense to me, and it gave me so much relief. And so right now we're coming up on Riley's first birthday, and so we're faced with that conundrum of do we throw her a party? Well, truth be told, we kind of suck at it, and we really don't want to, not because we don't want to make our little girl's first birthday special, but just for all of the reasons that we just went into. And so instead, the thing that is just so much more up my alley as a parent, something that I'll truly be able to get into as her father, is let me make your day special by facilitating an experience. And even though she's just 1 and there's really not anything she's going to remember, or she doesn't really have a whole lot of input into what it's going to be, we as a family are going to have a special experience that day in honor of her.
Yeah, so I feel that, and then even for Jackson, he's really into dinosaurs. So, I've been giving him options. Do you want to go see dinosaurs, or do you want to go to this arcade with this games and a playground? And, he wants to go see dinosaurs. So as a family, for both kids, we're just going to have a more intimate day, which is the family, maybe a grandparent here or there. But we're just going to be more low key, but the experience to them is going to be a little bit larger, because we'll be able to give that undivided attention and entertainment. And then as they get older, if they still like the experiences, we'll say, invite a friend.
Yep.
And you and your best friend will go to whatever they're interested in that year.
You want to go to Charleston, South Carolina?
Well, I didn't say that.
Wait, Charleston's out?
Well, that's a trip.
Yeah, I think a trip for a 7 or 8-year-old kid, a day trip in the car, someplace that you can drive to, that's in play.
That would be an overnight trip, which is fine.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe a 3-day weekend or something.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure.
I'm glad we hashed this out.
I was not expecting that.
I mean, Charleston, South Carolina
as they
is
get
not high on my
older-
list. But what if all of a sudden Riley's totally enamored with the history of Charleston?
Well, in
Like
due time,
I'm voting yes. That's all I'm saying. For my one parental vote, I say yes. Also, this is the last thing I want to say about this topic, but like, do you kind of get the vibe, or maybe this is my own self-consciousness, that like our guests, our friends specifically, they can kind of tell that we're not good at throwing birthday parties. So then it's like for our other friends that are good at hosting them, they're like, all right, they're having a party. They're going to have a good party. We've been to those parties. But then it's like, oh, the Youngs are throwing a party. I think it's
Julian,
like,
if
so
we're
I feel
gonna
like
rag
the
on me-
enthusiasm about like us throwing another kid's birthday party is just like, it's down there.
this is how
With
bad
like the approval rating of Congress.
this is how bad we are about throwing parties. I don't throw parties. For my birthday, I just want to have very low key.
Yeah.
So my birthday's in January.
Mm-hmm.
I basically invited a group of our friends to dinner for a birthday celebration.
Yeah.
Like in June or like August. It was something
Excessively
way
early.
too early. But I was excited. I was like, you know what? This year I'm gonna
Putting it
do
on the calendar early.
And then everyone's like, why are you inviting me to this party in January in the middle of the summer?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I wanted you to be able to come. So put it on your calendar.
I don't think that was indicative of waning enthusiasm for our parties or get-togethers. I think that everyone was just dogging on you for how excessively
Maybe,
early
but
the
I'm
heads
I'm
up
not
is,
good
or
at
the
it.
invite.
I'm not a good host.
Right, it's like,
I
when do
don't-
you even invite?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently
Well, yeah,
that's
when
too,
is it okay?
That's too early. All right, now we know. So anyway, we're just out. We're out. That's
We're
it
out.
for us. I don't even know if we could say we're going out on a high note. I don't ever think we really reached the crescendo, but that's all for us when it comes to kids' birthday parties, maybe even parties in general.
Maybe down the road, if Jackson really says, Mom, like I want a party, for,
Yeah.
we'll reevaluate. But for
Again,
now,
yes.
we're gonna be like, buddy. Instead of throwing this huge party, we're taking you to these like cool experiences
Yeah.
that we're gonna be able to experience as a family.
And I don't know what kind of kid is really going to want to see that gravy train come to an end, because there's the ability to tailor that to his interests.
And you get to pick
every
it.
single year.
You
yeah.
get to choose.
It's like, so what are you into this year? Oh, you like this, this super weird show or whatever that you found on YouTube? Like, okay, cool. Like, there's a live performance of that. Let's go see that. I'm secretly hoping that he's always cool with that, both of our kids, but only time will tell. So that's our confession. It is what it is. Tell us if you vibe with it. Don't forget to email us, youngfamilypodcast@gmail.com, or just respond with your thoughts wherever it is that you are listening to this. For instance, we typically post these on Facebook and YouTube as well. So just, hit us up in the comments with what you think about throwing parties. Are you party people? Are you party attenders like us? What do you think about the experiential birthday thing, strategy, and so on and so forth? TBC, you ready to take our next break?
Yes.
All right, everybody, stick with us. Young Family Podcast coming back at you. All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Young Family Podcast. It is your boy, E. Young. We got the TBC here as well. This is the segment of the show where we attempt to impart some knowledge on y'all. And the title of this section is going to be How to Potty Train a Little Boy in 4 Steps. It almost kind of reminds me of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Was that the Matthew McConaughey movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a good one, right?
It's an oldie but goodie.
Yeah, right? Where they like play the card game and he's like, BS at the end, right? And then he calls BS on her at the bridge at the end.
Yeah.
Guess what? That has nothing to do with any of this. How to potty train a little boy in 4 steps. Let's put it in context. Matthew McConaughey has nothing to do with it.
No.
Number 2, we're talking about our oldest. This is little Jackson. So he's almost 3. And I'm going to go ahead and say we got this kid potty trained. What do you think? Are we there? Can we like hammer the gavel on it?
He's potty trained. We are still working on like overnight potty training.
Yeah.
But for daytime, yes. And
Yeah.
it actually happened fairly quickly.
Right. So again, not trying to brag on anyone, but we think we have a strategy, or at least we'll share this strategy with
share
you
what
guys.
worked for us.
What worked for us. It's not going to work for everybody for sure. And you know what? You might even have a method that's more effective. And if you do, let us know, because then we'll share it with the Young Family Podcast listening community. So I want you to take the lead on this, TBC.
Okay.
In fact, I'll go through the steps that we outlined together, and then I kind of want your interpretation of it. So for step number 1, it says nighttime nudity and toilet introduction. What does that mean for you?
So, well, it actually kind of happened by accident, meaning Jackson for a while there had just like some bad diaper rashes. So after the bath, we would just like let him have some like naked time.
Yep.
So basically after dinner, we would
Just trying to air it out.
Yeah, just to air it out. So after bath time, we would leave him naked and we would just keep asking him, if you have to go to the bathroom, let us know. We will go. And he was a little bit older, so he understood also.
Well, how old was he? Because I don't think he was that old. I think he was still not 2. Wasn't he still 1 when we started doing this? Like late 1, almost 2?
I think it was after 2, but I mean, it was like around.
So let's just say right there, at like the second birthday, we start doing this strategy where like after his evening bath, we don't put on any kind of a diaper. So there's at least 15, 20 minutes of naked time in the house where, of course, we are rightly terrified of him peeing and pooping on things. So we're like on him.
Asking him.
We're on him and we're asking.
And we weren't like, it was never about like forcing him because he wasn't ready yet too. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of like getting him. It was really more just like to air out his.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with potty training.
But the unintentional result was that sometimes he would actually say yes, that he needed to go to the bathroom, or we would just take him over there and just like sit him on the toilet and be like, when you need to go to the bathroom, you can do it like this. And so here you go. We sat him on. And so that kind of just like, it broke the stigma of the toilet. He was
right,
like,
and we would get super excited for him. But
if
then
he did.
But then after it was over, we wouldn't really make it a big deal. It was just more or less introducing him to the toilet, introducing him to be able to go like a big boy.
And the concept of knowing how to tell us before it happened.
Right. So we did that actually for a while.
A full year.
Yeah.
Because so let's say that we started that around his 2nd birthday. Here we are almost to his 3rd birthday. And we
been
just
potty trained for I would probably say for about a month maybe.
Yeah, just a handful of weeks.
Yeah.
So that means that for almost, let's just say 9 to 10 months.
Yeah.
We were doing this nudity, the nighttime nudity step for Jackson. Step 2, I guess we have already kind of covered it. Step 2 is you wait. So what does that mean to you?
They need to be ready. Because if you are trying to force something that they are not ready for, it's not going to happen. Because you want this to be a fun, new adventure. Like you are a big boy, you know, you're going to the bathroom like mom and dad. But if they're not ready to be able to do that, they're just going to fight you. So it's just kind of like making sure that they're interested, that they understand what's happening. And
I would say almost like get to the point where you as the parent think that, all right, they're totally ready. And then wait a couple more months. That's just my interpretation of it, because I think that that's what happened. I think that we probably could have started Jackson in the official potty training portion of this process earlier than we did, but we waited because he never voiced any sort of interest in like taking it further, and we just didn't push it.
I think but like just for example, my friend she has 3 daughters, and her 3rd daughter is 2, but she is potty trained. But I think that for her, for one, she's a girl, so girls maybe like potty train a little bit faster.
And remember, this section is how to potty train a boy.
Right, and she has 2 older siblings that she's like watching go to the bathroom. So I think it's like, it's just for an example, like knowing when your child is ready. You know, Riley might be a little bit faster because she'll see Jackson.
Right.
You know,
and because she's a girl.
Yeah, so it's just like knowing your child when they show like the signs of readiness rather than kind of like forcing them.
Yeah. I also think another benefit to the waiting step is, we got to a point where Jackson has the motor skills to undress himself. He has the verbal skills to tell us when he's ready. Back to motor skills, he can take toilet paper off the roll. He can flush the toilet. He can climb himself up onto the toilet. So that's another benefit, in my opinion, to waiting. Again, though we probably could have started him earlier, he might not have been as developed in his ability to do all those things.
Because we waited.
Right. So that's step 2. Step 3, we say the weekend lock-in. Tell us what that's all about, TBC.
Well, you just kind of have to commit. You have to commit to kind of being homebound, no matter how exciting an invitation may be to a party.
I think we did turn down a boating opportunity.
Yeah. But it was just like, it needed to happen. It's almost like having like kids. Like no time is good. You just have to go for it. So it's like, I forget what happened, but like, you woke up one day and you're just like,
oh, I know what happened.
We have to go. We have to do it. Like, this is the weekend.
It happened on a Friday. I was getting him ready for school. He was fighting just horrendous diaper rashes. For almost like over a week, or like multiple weeks of something. And now that he's almost 3, he again, this was only maybe like 7 weeks ago or something, but like he is so strong at this point that like I can't just like hold his ankles together and clean him and change him like I used to. So like if that kid wants to struggle, like it is going to be a physical altercation to try and change him if he wants to. And he was so sore from diaper rashes that he did not want to be changed. And so it was one diaper change specifically that took like almost 20 minutes or something. And I texted you immediately after it. I'm like, that's it. We're done. We're done with diapers. And so that was the catalyst for the weekend lock-in. That very next day, Saturday, we declined all invitations, one of which being the opportunity to go out and party on a boat. And we're like, no, thank you. We have to do the weekend lock-in. And so it is exactly what it sounds like.
I think stayed home and
he
was like naked, so he could,
naked
because at
all
that
day.
point he already knew from being naked for those like several months before the feeling that he was like looking for. Mm-hmm. So it's like, we just kept reminding him, when you have to go to the bathroom, like, let's go. And they always say like ask him every 15, 20 minutes, but I feel like
for us it was like every 2 minutes.
Well, in the beginning, but then I feel like once he had, success peeing, he just knew what he was looking for. So we didn't really have to ask him as much. We kept, asking him, but I don't know. He just like did like so well. Mm-hmm. It was just like, I guess like we did incentivize him.
Okay, so I was going to say it ties back into the step 2, which is waiting. And it also ties into step 4, which is introducing a reward system that is tailor fit for your son.
Yeah, so for me,
so what
it's
was
like,
ours?
Well, Jackson loves sweets, but I didn't really want to give him treats
candy
every time that he peed and pooped, because at that point he'd be having candy like all day long.
Yeah.
So
that was impractical.
For Valentine's Day, my mom gave Jackson a card with a $5 bill in it. Mm-hmm. And he was so excited. I don't even know, because we had never really gone over like money with him or like the value of money, but for some reason he was super
He has
amped.
a preternatural understanding of finance.
Yeah. So we were like, you know what we can do with this? Because we would go to Five Below, because everything in the store is $5 and below, just like the name of the store.
You got it.
So we would say, Potty, let's go to the store with your money, and you could pick out anything that you wanted. And he was so excited.
Yeah. He just went in there, $5 bill waving in the air, and
he's like, money.
Rightly so, because we're like, dude, anything from wall to wall in this place you can get. So our incentive system looked like, we started breaking it down into change, and
change.
Yeah.
So we he had a piggy bank, and we basically had stickers, and we had change, like quarters, pennies, dimes, and we were like, every time that you go to the bathroom, you get money
for that weekend lock-in specifically. And I think we extended it through the first week. And just for our listeners' sake, that's pretty much where the incentive system stopped.
Yeah.
Because then at that point, it became so commonplace for him to use the toilet that the celebrations naturally subsided. Instead of us like running laps, like victory laps after each time, he was just like, yeah, okay, I did it. I want to get back to doing what I was doing.
Right.
You know, if he was playing a game or something. So then once the celebrations started to just diminish a little bit, we just gradually stopped giving money after each successful go.
And then we basically took the money out of the piggy bank and we said, this is your money. We can go to the store and you could buy a prize.
Right.
Because you earned it.
Yeah.
You know, just like you had your money the first time around, you get to go buy,
So yeah, Jackson loves money. I guess who doesn't? But he specifically loves getting prizes at Five Below. So that was our incentive system. Your kid, you develop that incentive system based on
whether it's like stickers, whether it's candy,
right?
Or the money, but
or just something
I feel
that they want to do
that he's interested in, and kind of like using that. But then whatever you're gonna say, you have to like stick with that.
Yeah. You definitely need to follow it up, and again, it's not like a forever thing. For us, we did it for 2 weekends and just the week in between. And then eventually he got tired of the incentive system, so we just phased it out.
I feel that like obviously like at home he's been perfect with potty training, but at school it's been a little bit more challenging because it's just kind of getting used to a new thing in a new environment.
Right.
But now I would say about like a month later, he's finally feeling more comfortable at school, and now he's like going, and he
all
he
numbers.
He peed for the first time in a urinal a couple weeks ago at a theme park,
like a grown man.
And he peed in a toilet at like some other restaurants, and now he wants to like.
The craziest thing is,
no, Mom.
He keeps us out of the bathroom.
Now he's like, no, Mom, I got it.
Yeah, he closes the door and then he does everything himself, including undressing himself. And listen, again, not trying to brag or anything. This wound up being a very effective system for us in a pretty short period of time. Again, we waited, reference step 2 of the process, but that's it, everybody. That's, in the young family's opinion, how you potty train a boy in 4 steps. That about wraps up our show, TBC.
Yes.
But we still have a couple of things that we want to talk about. Number 1, we want to get back to business on reminding you guys that the Young Family Podcast is now available almost everywhere that podcasts can be consumed. And that is iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Look us up, subscribe. We got that RSS feed. Get these episodes directly to your phone if they are providing some fun and value to your life. Secondarily, we love the sound of our own voices. We like hearing ourselves talk. But on the same note, we're also ready to introduce some other voices in this very show. You guessed it, we are ready for you to become a guest. If you're a listener, right away, we're going to say you're probably qualified to be a guest. We don't need you to be an expert at anything. All we ask is that you have an interesting perspective on parenthood. What do you want to talk about? What is it about your parenthood experience that you would like to bring to this listening family and community? If you've got something, let us know. Hit us up, youngfamilypodcast@gmail.com. Other than that, TBC, you got anything you wanted to add before we sign off?
No, thanks for listening. Share us, like us.
That's it.
And stay tuned for more.
Love you guys. If you are a parent out there, just keep on doing your thing. And until then, this is the Young Family Podcast saying to you, bye! This is the Young Family Podcast. This is the Young Family Podcast.